Welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, an audio presentation of the Scottish Rite Journal, brought to you by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. This week's article is The Rough Ashlar Speaks, Recalling a Fable in Stone, by Brother Mark Dreisenstock, 33rd degree, and comes from the May-June 2024 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. The first decade of the Scottish Rite Journal, which began in 1904 under the title of the New Age magazine, included creative fiction. In time, the magazine became more focused on nonfiction, Masonic articles with periodic forays into history, civics, and science. Still, on rare occasions, fiction pieces would continue to appear. One such narrative is the delightful A Fable in Stone. Written by Lieutenant Colonel Robert M. Walker, 32nd degree, the story was published in the February 1963 New Age. The story is unique in that it allows the rough and smooth Ashlars, both salient aspects of the Masonic metaphor of moral self-improvement from imperfection to seek perfection, to speak for themselves. The rough Ashlar was unhappy, the fable begins, and it showed in every craggy line of his irregular face. "Why should I be different?" he asked the perfect Ashlar. "Other rough Ashlars sit beside me, and the master puts them on the workbench and shapes and smooths them until they become perfect Ashlars like you. But when he looks at me, he shakes his head and walks away." "I think I know," the perfect Ashlar told him. "One of your corners has broken off. This means that if the master smooths you down to where all of your sides are straight and true, you will be too small. To be perfect, you must not only be perfectly smooth and true on all surfaces, but you must also be of exactly the proper size, or the other stones will not fit against you, and the wall of the temple will not be perfect." The rough Ashlar is unhappy, for the broken corner is no fault of his own. Now a third character enters the story, the master, who has overheard the conversation. The rough Ashlar demands, "Why can I not be a perfect Ashlar and take my rightful place in the temple wall?" The master responds, "Everything in this world has aspirations, everything from you to the temple itself, and even me. You feel you cannot be part of the temple because one of your corners has been broken off. Believe me, this did not happen because the hand of the quarryman was shaking, or because he was careless, or hated you. Call it an accident, call it anything you want, but you cannot wish it away, nor can complaining change it." The master then deepens the Masonic metaphor, noting the distinction between external perfection and internal perfection, much as penetrating minds are able to distinguish between internal and external beauty. The polished sides of the perfect Ashlar are only the external signs of inner perfection. For who knows, the perfectly finished and polished sides of a carefully selected stone may still conceal a weakness that will someday permit a portion of the wall of our temple to fall. The thing for you to remember is that a truly perfect Ashlar is one that is sturdy and strong throughout, regardless of its surface beauty. The master continues on to make an insightful point about how the rough Ashlar should also have its use. "Now look around you. In that courtyard over there, the hooves of horses will tread and chariots will roll, and where the feet of the apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason will travel untold times. There we must have sturdy rough Ashlars with their roughened and slightly irregular surfaces so that hurrying feet will not slip, for this courtyard is exposed to the elements, and rain on a smooth stone makes treacherous footing indeed. This is an important function, and one that only rough Ashlars can perform." The master encourages the rough Ashlar, for there will be another, even more important place for you in the temple. The workmen, it seems, have discovered that one of the essential foundation stones has cracked, have removed the broken stone, and now need to replace it with another, more durable stone. "Are you that stone?" the master asks. You are only a rough ashlar, but are you perfect enough in your inner strength to be buried in the earth and to hold up the mighty wall of the temple? The rough ashlar, now enlightened, agrees and is lowered into place by 2 apprentice masons. Later, as people come from all over to admire the great temple, the southeast corner seemed just a little straighter and just a little more sturdy than the rest, extending far beyond the conventional lecture on the rough and perfect ashlars that the master explains on his tracing board to the entered apprentice in lodge. Our creative fable concludes. The years and then the centuries passed, and war and weather took their toll. Finally, the sands of time drifted across its ruins until at last only a few fragments of masonry were to be seen rising out of drifting sand. The last fragment of what was once the greatest temple to ever be seen by the eyes of man was a part of the wall that had marked the southeast corner of the building. The rough ashlar had proved worthy of his trust. This allegorical story thus contains a number of key Masonic insights. There is the Masonic notion of discernment in which merit exists beyond rough or smooth exteriors, for in Masonry, individuals are valued based on their internal rather than external worth. There is a subtle reference to Psalm chapter 118, verse 22. The stone which the builders refused is to become the headstone of the corner, reminding us that we at times overlook, to our detriment, great teachers, prophets, and ideas because they are not superficially attractive. Finally, the tale exudes encouragement to those who feel that they lack remarkable talents and gifts. In spite of this, they have crucial roles to play in both the sacred and the secular worlds. As the poet Milton enjoins us, they also serve who only stand and wait. Like and share this article, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you wish to comment, please leave one, and as a reminder, hit the notifications bell. Any accompanying photographs or citations for this article can be found in the corresponding print edition. The Scottish Rite Journal is published by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. Mark Dreisenstock, 33rd degree, Managing Editor. I'm your host, Matt Bowers.